Good day, brothers and sisters. Your brother Rams here, and I'm back on the airwaves. I'm just back to let you know what's been happening here. A lot has happened, a lot has transpired, and so we got a lot to talk about today. But before I even start with this talking, I got to talk about a young mother that was killed by the ICE agents up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'd like to offer my condolences to the family of Renee Nicole Good. May your soul rest in peace. Every time I seem to come on this podcast, I got to offer some condolences for some craziness that's happening here in America. And I'm going to explain what we're getting into here today. But first, I just want to tip my hat and take my hat off to Miss uh, uh, Miss Good, Miss Renee Good. She's a mother, U.S. citizen, 3 children. So my heart aches for them babies because they need their mama. So I had shed a tear, and if I get a little emotion, don't worry, baby. It's because I understand that they're children without their mother, and that's a hell of a thing to grow up with. But I also believe in the strength and power of God, and He knows surely what we know not. So I firmly believe that those children will be taken care of. But I'm just my initial reaction as a parent, you know, having to leave your children getting killed unnecessarily by some foolishness by our president, uh, really is disturbing and upsetting. But before I start, like I said, I want to offer my condolences to the Good family and all those people, concerned people that associate with her. May God give you peace and heal your wounds quickly. But even if it doesn't, God is in control, and don't forget that. But today, brothers and sisters, I got hot topics to talk about today, man. It's a lot has transpired since I was last on the airwaves. And again, I hope you all had a happy Kwanzaa. And again, Kwanzaa means first fruits. And I hope you had a happy, happy Kwanzaa. But right now, we're getting ready to get into the political sauce right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to entitle this podcast. It's going to be titled Project 2025, The Destruction of America. See, everybody done forgot that Project 2025, but what you all are seeing, brothers and sisters, you seeing this live and in living color. This is in live and in living color, brothers and sisters. So I want you to understand this. Project 2025. What is it about? I'll go over it again. I'll go over it again. Because it's critical that you understand because you're experiencing it right now. Project 2025. Remember Trump told you, oh, I don't know nothing about it. But the people who was working on it are his top advisors. The people that were working on it are his top advisors, but he knows absolutely nothing. And as you see, he was lying as usual. Really pathological, kind of. But it's sad, but this is the President of the United States. And to my Caucasian brothers and sisters in particular, I got to put some of that blame on you because this is what you wanted. You wanted this type of man. But let me give you the roots of what Project 2025 is about for my Caucasian brothers who really already know. But for my black, brown, red, and yellow brothers, this is what Project 2025 is about. It has three main components. Three main components. And if you doubt what I'm saying, check out what I'm saying to back up what I'm saying. The first and foremost is that Trump is out to destroy democracy. Hello? He's out to destroy it. He's so crazy, he's even destroying the symbol of democracy, the White House, tearing it up, tearing up the White House, destroying all the institutions, working on putting incompetent people in these institutions as his cabinet members. What's their criteria for qualification? Long as they love Trump. His job is to destroy democracy. And you see it happening right in front of your face. He's destroying it. He's trying to destroy the institutions. Look at them: education, health, housing. Criminal justice system, yeah, criminal justice system. Just think with America, particularly my Caucasian brothers and sisters, you all allowed a criminal, convicted felon to now be in charge of the world's most powerful armed forces. You have allowed a convicted felon to be in charge of the U.S. Armed Forces, one of the top armies and top armed forces in the world, if not the top. Is running a close first. Then now you got a lunatic in charge of it, and as you see, he's doing what lunatics does. What lunatics do? He's acting crazy with it, using the military every time he get a chance. So the first thing was the destruction of democracy, and you're seeing it happen right in front of all the institutions crumbling, putting incompetent people in charge, destroying it from the inside out. So even when he leaves, it'll all be in ruins. Democracy. That's the first piece of Project 2025. The second piece, I gotta say this for my Caucasian brothers and sisters, but it's the truth, and I'm gonna give you the proof of that it's the truth. It's the return of white supremacy. I say it. A lot of these black brothers and sisters, they get on some of these nighttime shows, and when they get challenged by some of their Caucasian panel members, when I say they do like this to the black people. So are you saying he's a white racist? Know what you say to him? Yes. Yes, he is. And I'll explain to you why. And I'll give you a solution so to help him stop being a white racist and a white supremacist. See, I don't just say it, but I'm going to give him a solution to help change himself. Because what's the mantra of my podcast? Everything must change and time moves forward. Black people, don't be afraid when they challenge you. So are you saying that they're like the Gestapo? Talking about the ICE agents. Yes, they are. They're using Gestapo type tactics. They're terrorizing. They're not helping anybody. They're not here to stop crime. They're here to terrorize the normal people. And I'll talk about the ICE raids later. And again, condolences to Renee Good. But that's the second piece, white supremacy. It's the return of white supremacy and white nationalism. And it's about the domination. Get this key point. It's about the domination of the Caucasian people in the Western Hemisphere. It's about the domination of white people in the Western Hemisphere. That's what it's really about, brothers and sisters. Project 2025. The return of white supremacy, white nationalism, all of that. That's what it's doing. And that's important to understand. And the third thing, one of the third things is, brothers and sisters, is this. Hold on. I got my notes. Got to have my notes, brothers and sisters. To replace, get this now, it's important, to replace the President of the United States with a Caucasian dictator. That's why America voted for him, because they like his style. They didn't know he was going to do this, but they like his style. Brag, talking smack, as we say in the hood. That's kind of a personality trait that I like. So they wanted a Caucasian man to be the dictator. Because as you saw it after January 6th, a lot of the Caucasian Republicans didn't really want to vote to certify the election. That was the first sign that they wasn't in favor of democracy. That they weren't in favor of democracy, brothers and sisters. And this is the sad part about it. We got it that time, but now you let Trump back in there, he's going to destroy democracy. They want a Caucasian dictator. Okay? Why? Because he's a white supremacist. Now, Brother Rams, are you defaming him? There's a saying that my daddy used to tell me. He said this: a man is known by the company he keeps. Uh-oh, what's that mean, brother? The people you hang around, it's like birds of a feather. You don't see the pigeon flying with the eagles. You see eagles flying with other eagles. You see lions running with other lions. So a person, human, is known by the company he keeps. And I call the president a white supremacist and a white nationalist, and I have the facts to back it up. Who are the people who surround him the most? Remember, a person's known by the company they keep. Let's take a look at one of the first ones. His top senior advisor. Who is it, Brother Rams? He's also his speechwriter. I saw him on on CNN the other day interviewing with Jake Tapper. I said, good God Almighty, this is a white supremacist right here. Stephen Miller. What proof you got on him, Brother Rams? Here's the proof. Just listen up, brothers and sisters. First of all, he's the architect of family separation. Remember in the first Trump administration, he was separating the children from the parents at the border. No kind of empathy, no nothing. He was the architect of that. The family, and you saw the kids, they're in cages, crying for their mother and father. No kind of empathy, no kind of compassion for a child. White supremacists. Another thing about Mr. Stephen Miller, he has white nationalist ties. He belongs to white nationalist groups. He corresponds with them on a regular. He's a staunch supporter of VDARE. VDARE and the Camp of Saints. Now, who are they? VDARE, Camp of Saints. Who are they? They're notoriously racist and anti-immigration white supremacists. Stephen Miller. Stone Cold. You should just, if you doubt what I'm saying, look up the interview with Stephen Miller and Jake Tapper. Can't believe you might as well be wearing a Klan's hat. This is ours. And he's talking about the Monroe Doctrine. And I'm getting into that in a minute to explain what the Monroe Doctrine is. But right now, he is a staunch advocate of these right-wing extremist, racially racist groups. He advocates with them. Okay? Stephen Miller. And he's Trump's main man now. He's his main man. So if your main man is a white supremacist, white nationalist, then obviously you must believe that that's your train of thought as well. And that's what has happened, brothers and sisters. The next person, remember, a man is known by the company he keeps. Remember your old friend Elon Musk? Remember him going crazy? Probably had him a little bit of that ketamine, but anyway, he's admitted that he messes with it, so I ain't defaming nothing. Remember Elon Musk? His famous Heil Hitler salute? Yeah, Heil Hitler. Last time I checked, that was a Nazi salute. The world's seen it. The Heil Hitler salute. Elon Musk. Stephen Miller, Elon Musk. I got a third one for you. These are in Trump's inner orbit, baby. His name is Nick Fuentes. Nicholas Fuentes. Who is he, Brother Ram? He's a 27-year-old white American, and he champions white supremacy and Christian nationalism. He's down with Christians, but only Christians, which is really anti-Christian. That's how dumb this dude is. How could you be up for Christian nationalism and don't like anybody else? Then you're not a Christian, baby. You're a devil. And have anybody noticed why the Pope don't come to America? I'll tell you why he don't come to America. Because of its treatment of its immigrants. What do you see the Pope doing now? Traveling all around the world. He don't come to America, but he travels around the world. Who does he deal with? He talks with the immigrants. He talks to the poor, black, white, brown, red, yellow. Because he knows one thing. They're all God's children. He ain't coming to America. It's a house of devils. It's a house of devils, brothers and sisters. That's strong language, Brother Ram. Yes, it is. But what is a devil? He's a mischief maker and a bloodshedder. And I told you who the three mischief makers are in this world. Right now, that's dominating the world. Trump, she, and, no, excuse me, not she. She's being cooled as a cucumber. Trump, Netanyahu, and Putin. And just by happen, I don't know, you all figure this out. They all happen to be Caucasian. I don't know, could just be some strange coincidence. But they're all Caucasians. And they're mischief makers and they're bloodshedders. And Trump is definitely a mischief maker. Okay? So now, again, that's his orbit of people. And remember Charlie Kirk too. God rest his soul. But he has some anti-people of color rhetoric too. You see how they feted him at the White House. Charlie Kirk, that's my man. Now, if you don't think like that yourself, why would you affect something like that? Charlie Kirk. So think about his orbit. Charlie Kirk, Stephen Miller, Elon Musk, Nick Fuentes. Stone cold white nationalists and white supremacists. And as I told you, brothers and sisters, about white nationalism, I can understand why white people want a nation of their own, but there's some things that they refuse to understand. And it has to do with time and biology and science. My Caucasian brothers, I've said this to you over and over again. You are the last race of people to appear on earth. So when you came upon the earth, the people who were here before you, they had already occupied the land. They were already occupying the land, brothers and sisters. So you can't now come and take their land. The only thing you're going to do is have to take it. And therein lies the problem. Because no one's going to let you take their house. Not peacefully. No justice, no peace. So this is important for you to understand, my brothers and sisters. Okay? This guy, Nick Puentes, he built his career on bigotry. He worked under former Senator Jeff Sessions. And he created policies. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Hold on. Got to get my notes together. That was Stephen Miller. Okay? Stephen Miller. He worked under Senator Jeff Sessions. and he created policies aimed at rolling back civil rights. I had to get that right, brothers and sisters. And he weakened voting protection. Okay? Nick Puentes. It's sad. But Nick Puentes, that was Stephen Miller, but in the Nick Puentes case, he openly disavowed, Nick Puentes disavowed miscegenation. Now, what's miscegenation? Miscegenation is race mixing. He jumped on J.D. Vance for marrying an Indian woman. For miscegenation. Okay? He disavowed that. And that's one of the sad parts about him. He's against LGBTQ. He's anti-LGBTQ. He's an anti-Semite, this Nick Puentes. That means he's against black people too. We already know that. But he's against black. If he's an anti-Semite, he's against black people. And he denied that the Holocaust even happened. Shame. For my white Jewish brothers. No good. No good. This Nick Puentes. But these are the people that hang around Donald Trump. They hang around Donald Trump. Unfortunately, that's why I call him a white supremacist and a white racist. And like I said, a white nation, you're not going to have a white nation because you came on the earth last. So the land was already taken and occupied. So now your history has to become a history of taking from other people's land. Listen to this point, it's careful. And be careful and listen. You came here late. You were the last. The land was already occupied. You had no place to go other than the caves and hillsides of northern Europe. That's where you had been driven into for your mischief making and bloodshedding. When you came out of the hills and cave sides of northern Europe, you came out attacking the people who already had land. You know them as the Vikings and the barbarians, but that's the black man knows who they are. They're the Vikings, they're the barbarians. You seen them wearing wolf skins, don't know how to bury their own dead, don't know how to cook their own food. That's who they are. That's their history. But to God's credit, he's brought them a long way. But nonetheless, their history comes out of the caves and hillsides of northern Europe. And they never had a land truly of their own. So they spent their lives taking other people's land. Pay close attention to that. They spend much of their time taking other people's land. Colonizers. Now, what justifies that? According to them. I'm going to lay some heavy stuff on you, baby, but I got to do it because I got to teach. So you understand this aggressive behavior by Donald Trump towards Venezuela and all that. The main policy that they try to deal with, it's called the Monroe Doctrine. What, Brother Ram? The Monroe Doctrine. What is it? I'll give you the history, of course. I got to give it to you. The Monroe Doctrine. It was named after the 5th president of the United States, James Monroe. And that was he ruled from 1817 to 1825. That was his time as the president. James Monroe. And remember, at the time, America was a young country. They just got their independence in 1776. So by 1823, they weren't even 100 years old. They were a young country. But who was the superpowers? I'll explain that in a minute. So James Monroe came up with this doctrine. But originally, It was a good doctrine. See, most people hear it now and they say, "Ooh, white supremacy," because it changed. And I'm going to show you how it changed. James Monroe, he seek to maintain amicable relationships with the European powers. He wanted to be still friends with them because these were the powers. America wasn't a power yet. These were the three main powers at that time, at the turn of the 19th century. Great Britain, I told you about them. They were a monster with their armies and conquering and colonizing. Oh yeah. Russia, sound familiar? And Spain. These were the imperial power in imperial empires that were the big dogs at that time. So he wanted to maintain a healthy relationship with them. But this is what he warned these countries, because they were colonizing, taking land, all of that. He warned them to do this. The original Monroe Doctrine, James Monroe warned them. He warned these countries against future colonization. Future, that means there already was colonization. Stealing people's land. Remember nationalism? They had no land of their own, so their history is a history of stealing land from people. Damn it. So don't tell me what the Caucasian's history is, because I know my own. I know his history. He came here stealing land. Now you can take that and let it alone, but it's the God's truth. History bears me witness, brothers and sisters. But our President James Monroe said, no, stop this colonization. That ain't right. Don't keep colonizing them people, exploiting them people. He asked them to stop the colonization and the interference in the Americas. What Americas are there? North and South America. He said, don't go there colonizing, man. Don't go there colonizing. He didn't want them imperial powers to encroach any further into what he claims is the United States sphere of influence. Stop right there. Sphere of influence. That means the Western Hemisphere. Look at the location, the Western Hemisphere. Where's Venezuela located? In the Western Hemisphere. He says, stop it. Stop colonizing in South America, in North America. Stop it. Don't encroach no more. But here comes the big shift. In the early 20th century, Teddy Roosevelt and his crew, that Congress around that time, it was on 1903, I think, they changed it. See, before the doctrine was supposed to be an important part of American policy. But now, by the 20th century, the early part, it took a sadistic twist. It took a sadistic twist, brothers and sisters. What did it do? It turned around and now made it white dominance of the Western Hemisphere. It did the exact opposite of what Monroe wanted. This is what fuels Trump to this very day. He says the Monroe Doctrine. But the Monroe Doctrine was twisted. And there's a key piece that helped twist the Monroe Doctrine into a sadistic, white supremacist type of doctrine. Because now it has white supremacy on it. But that's not the real intention of James Monroe. He wanted the opposite. But Teddy Roosevelt and his Congress said, no, we're changing that. We're saying that we're going to encroach on everyone in the Western Hemisphere if we have to. We'll colonize them all. We'll take their resources. Sound familiar? This is what Mr. Trump is doing. So now, this has now become the cornerstone of American foreign policy. If you look at Trump, that's what's happening. He says the Monroe Doctrine. But there's a key piece that I want to add to this. It's a key piece to this Monroe Doctrine. And that key piece it's called, excuse me, brothers and sisters, it's called Manifest Destiny. What the hell is Manifest Destiny? This is the white rationalization for stealing people's land. Listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters. The Monroe Doctrine had been twisted. No more colonization. Leave that alone. Don't encroach on them people in South America and North America. Leave your colonizing at home. Don't do that to these people. They twisted it. And what aided them in their twisted behavior? It's this thing called the manifest destiny. And it's sharply impacted my Native American brothers. Damn it. I wear the Native American face on me. I ain't ashamed to say it, damn. That's the red man. Look at him. You took his land, damn it. To my Caucasian brothers and sisters, I have to tell you the truth. I'm not here to disparage you, but it'll set you free. What did God say? Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. What is the truth, Brother Rams? The truth of the matter is, this manifest destiny hurt our Native American people greatly. What does it say, Brother Ram? What does it say, brother? It says this. It's the 19th century belief that the U.S. is divinely ordained to expand its dominion and special democracy and capitalism across the entire North American continent from Atlantic to Pacific. So in other words, brother and sister, Manifest Destiny said, yeah, we're supposed to take this land from the Native Americans where God ordained it. What God did you know ordained it, damn it? You stole that land from them people. You gave them blankets with smallpox, man. You know you couldn't defeat them straight up with a guerrilla warfare, so you sick germ warfare on our red brothers. If you think I'm a lie, you look it up. Smallpox in the blankets wiped up hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Native Americans. And as I said to you, my brothers and sisters, every Caucasian here in America, and I say this with certainty, every last one of my Caucasian brothers here is a descendant of an immigrant. Now you can take that or let it alone, but where else did you come from? Where else did you come from, daggone it? You ain't native to this land. Again, I say this to you, brothers and sisters, because why? Because my Caucasian brother got to know his history. And don't forget his history. That's why he struggles today for peace. Because nobody wants to have their land taken from them. Because they were here first. They were here before my Caucasian brothers. So what's the solution, Brother Ram? The solution is, brothers and sisters, y'all Caucasian brothers got to change. You got to get out of this I'm going to dominate you mentality, because white supremacy is over. It's over. You want to bring it back. Donald Trump and his minions. You can't bring back time. It's impossible. You cannot bring back time. So realize that. You have to move forward. And the earth is big enough for my Caucasian brothers to live peacefully, prosperously, and in peace. But if you think you're going to dominate other people and take their land, you're going to have a fight. You're going to have a fight, brothers and sisters. And this manifest destiny was a cornerstone of American imperialism. We deserve this land. What we do to the Native Americans, God sanctions it. It's okay for us to do this to the Native American because it's divinely ordained. No, it wasn't. That's a lie. It justified them stealing them people's land. Manifestation. So that coupled with the twisted version of the Monroe Doctrine now made white supremacy palatable to take over the Western Hemisphere. But Mr. Trump, the Western Hemisphere is mostly Caucasian, it's people of color. So again, you're colonizing. The Western Hemisphere is people of color. That's what you have to understand. But don't want to understand that. So manifest destiny. And what it led to was it fueled conflict with, of course, with the Native Americans. Of course, this ain't your land. You can say what you want. You think about the Mexican-American War, and then finally slavery. And finally slavery. Fed the Native American smallpox. They greeted you here to feed you and help you survive. And yet you stabbed them in the back and try to take their land. And then they say they were ordained to take it from you. Well, God told them that. No God that I know. Not by killing them what they did. Not by the killing them what they did, brothers and sisters. So my question now is, how does that play out now? How does that play out now? Now I'm going to bring it on home how the Monroe Doctrine, manifest destiny, and all of that plays to this very day. And you see in your present president. Okay? What does the Monroe Doctrine now mean? It means white dominance of the Western Hemisphere. It means white dominance of the Western Hemisphere. Hell with the black and brown people and red people in the in the Western Hemisphere. Hell with them. This is for white supremacy. And remember, Trump is a white supremacist and a white nationalist. And I showed you that he is, because that's the company he keeps. Oh, yeah. By the way, I just want to say this also. It's kind of crazy, but it's the truth. All right? I got some more notes here that lets you know that this is the truth, that he's a white supremacist. How do we know? What Trump has done is he's kidnapped. I call it kidnap, the president of Venezuela. How does this doctrine relate to now? Bring it home, Brother Rams. How does it relate to now? It's plain as the nose on your face. Says, I'm going to make it. He started with the destroying of alleged drug boats. Again, with no proof. to break down the democracy, law, the rule of law. Where's the rule of law? Stop bombing them with no proof. Remember, white America wants a dictator. They don't want a president. But they didn't expect to get this type of dictator. He said. And he's dictating like he wants to do because he now has the world's greatest military at his fingertips, which was a bad, bad situation. So he destroys these alleged drug boats. He kidnaps the president of another country, Maduro. Again, is that lawful? He doesn't have to. Remember, part of Project 2025 is hell with the law. We ain't following no rule of law. We're following our own rule. Because we're destroying democracy. Ain't going to be no more democracy. It's going to be our dictator, Donald Trump. And he'll dictate what the law is. And he does right now. He was asked, and this is the scary part, he was asked by a reporter, on the world stage, what is it that can check you, man? What's your checks and balances? And he responds with, basically, I'm paraphrasing right now. He said, the only one who can stop me is really me, my morality. What? The only one who can stop me is me and my morality. If I see it's moral, then I won't do nothing. If it's not to my liking, I'll destroy it. He's telling you straight up. Sent chills through my bones. So because he's now at the fingertips of one of the greatest armies ever known. And it's right at his fingertips, and he's weaponized it. So he kidnaps President Maduro. And then he says this. He kidnaps President Maduro. And then he starts hijacking the Venezuelan oil. I told you it was about oil. It wasn't about no damn drugs. If you thought that, I'm going to sell you a bridge in Brooklyn. It was never about drugs. It was all about that oil and the resources in Venezuela. Remember, they have the world's largest oil deposits, more than Saudi Arabia, sitting underneath their soil. So Trump, what's he start doing? He start seizing oil tankers. Criminal behavior. Remember, he's a convicted felon. He likes criminals. He pardons them. Remember the 1,500 Capitol rioters? Remember the Grizzlies? Yeah, he loves criminals. Remember that gentleman in Tennessee embezzled all that money from them people? Crooks. Let him go free. Sad, brothers and sisters. It's really sad. But again, we have a convicted felon in the White House, and we've allowed him to have his fingers and access to the world's most powerful army. What do you think he's going to do with it? He's going around. So he goes to Venezuela, kidnaps the president, seizes 5 oil tankers. Straight, I say stealing. Because he's saying, well, that's sanctioned oil, and that's why we... Let me tell you a little secret. There's a lot of sanctioned oil out there. Are you going to stop everyone? Rand Paul said that. He said there's about 20, 30 countries running ships. Are you going to stop all of them? No. You can't. You can't at all. And that's why it's important for us all to understand, brothers and sisters. He wants to, now, he kidnapped, captured, or stole. I say he stole. Because when you take something without permission, it's stealing in my book. Because if you now steal, well, if you're going to go after sanctioned oil, then go after sanctioned oil. Go after it. But go after everyone's. Will you go after China's oil? that's marked for China leaving Venezuela? You better not. They seized a Russian tanker, but guess what happened? Putin said, ah. You better not. So they worked out a deal for some Russians to be released. So they can get their tanker back. This is what we have as the president. So now Donald Trump, remember, this is part of what? Project 2025. To what? To break down a democracy. Rule of law. That's democracy. There's a rule of law. Trump says, to hell with the rule of law. I'm the law because I'm the dictator. I'm the law because I am the dictator. And that's important to understand. It's important to understand, brothers and sisters. You know? So now he steals them 5 tankers. He kidnaps them. He got oil. And then since now, remember he said what? I'm going to run Venezuela. Oh, shoot. He's going to run Venezuela, y'all. Now, how do you run Venezuela? How are you going to run Venezuela? He got a country over here to run. He got a country over here to run. But how's he going to run Venezuela? He has so many problems over here. Think about it. But these are all distractions. What's the main ones? First one is healthcare. Everybody's premiums and shot up. Healthcare, affordability. No matter what you say, the price of things are going up. Inflation's still up there high. Oh, by the way, the Ukraine-Russian war is still going on. Remember, he'll end that day one. Hasn't done none of that. So now he's going after Venezuela. See, these are distractions, but it shows you almost like in special ed, impulse control. He has no impulse control. And again, those without impulse control very get stuff accomplished. Or something else will distract him. So he wants to take that. Oh, and by the way, brothers and sisters, he wants the Greenland too. He wants Greenland. Now let's take a look at wanting Greenland. That don't make sense. Greenland is a country that's associated with Denmark. Oh, and Denmark's a NATO nation. So that's really a NATO nation that he wants. Now he said he'd be willing to buy it. But the people say in Greenland, we don't want to sell. Then he said, but I'm not ruling out using the military. And that's when he caught the ire of a lot of people. You're not going to use the military against our NATO ally. You can't. But you can't put it past him because he used American soldiers, the American military, against U.S. citizens. He used American soldiers against the American citizens. Then killed a woman. Many little skirmishes and whatnot have developed because of him. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part, brother. We have many. So he takes over the oil. He got all this oil. And plus, now remember, now he's in charge of all that vast oil deposits in Venezuela. Man, he's licking his chops. Man, if I can tap into this, man, we'll all be rich. We'll be rich. So what he does, he he invites the U.S. oil executives to discuss not only the stolen oil that he got, but to discuss reinvesting in Venezuela. He summons them all to the White House, all the top bigwigs for the United States oil companies. And by the way, when I looked around the room, most of them were Caucasian men. There was a couple of ladies in there, but mostly Caucasian men. Mostly Caucasian men. And that's important. That's important to understand, brothers and sisters. They were Caucasian, mostly Caucasian men. But there was a few ladies in there. I give them that credit because thank God, there's some women's up there at the top. So he invites them and says, man, look, I got 5 tankers of oil. I'm in charge of all that oil that they got in reserve. Come in here, man, we're going to have a field day. Guess what happened? He was shocked when all those executives were very hesitant. He thought that would be, oh man, we gonna jump on this. They said, not so fast. He had to go look out the window. They saw the sapsucker going up to the window because he couldn't believe that they wouldn't be jumping on this. There's 3 basic reasons why they didn't jump on it. Here's the first. The first is security for their company. Hey man, you ain't guaranteed no security there. You took them people's president. You left the same government there, but you took their president, man. You think they're gonna take that? Oh yeah, and I got to give you a little history on the oil in Venezuela, brothers and sisters. In the 70s, this is before Chavez and before Maduro. Before then, Venezuela was a socialist country. It was a socialist country. And then when the big oil came there, they got kicked out because they were raping the land, but the people wasn't really seeing the benefits. So they got kicked out. The only one that was allowed to stay was Chevron. And they endured through Chavez and Maduro. But all the others got kicked out. They said, no, we don't want you back here. And they were subject to violence. They were subjected to violence. So one of the issues was security for the oil companies. And the other one, which is tied into the security, is the stability of the area. Who's going to be the president? It could be this woman one year, and then the next year it could be someone else. Total difference. Total difference, brothers and sisters. The Venezuelan oil equipment is old. It's antiquated. To pull up those deposits, those oil deposits, it's going to take new technology. It's going to take reinvesting. So, how much money would be needed to bring the whole system up to the standards to extract the oil? To bring it up to the standards to extract the oil, how much will it cost? Conservative estimates say it would be close to $10 billion. But who was supposed to benefit? Trump told them, the people of Venezuela, lie. That's a lie. They're not going to benefit nothing. You're going to keep that money. The people of Venezuela, the U.S. government, and Venezuela, the U.S. government, and the oil companies. They all would get a little profit. You Venezuelans ain't going to get none of that profit. You'll get mere pittance to what they stealing from the ground. But it's going to cost $10 billion at least to re-equip Venezuela to pump that type of oil and refine it. And the question is, do we want to make that investment? How long will it take? What will be my ROI? For my brothers and sisters, ROI means return on investment. How long before I get my money back? That's from the hood. When I'm going to get my money back? Will you get it back? Especially if the government gets shady. So these are things that we must realize, brothers and sisters. We got to realize these things. He took them people over. I mean, again, under the Monroe Doctrine, he wants to dominate the Western Hemisphere. That's why he wants Greenland. But God's not going to let you do that, because you keep forgetting the brown, red, and yellow people in that same hemisphere like they don't exist. And that's what white supremacy teaches them, that the only race that matters is white people. And Trump has proven that. By doing what? Obliterating black people from the books. Erasing them. Remember at the national parks? I'll give you another example so you don't get upset that I call him a white supremacist and a white nationalist. He eliminates black people from the history books, made it legal, eliminated them. Made it illegal to teach black history. And Kamala Harris and all of them stood on the side, all them Republicans. Ron DeSantis was the head of that foolishness. By him saying what? Advanced black educational studies has no educational value. Ignorant devil. And that triggered all them southern governors into eliminating books and all kind of stuff, which is really, again, a violation of what? First Amendment rights. I have the right to read whatever I want. I have the right to read whatever I want. And that's important. That's important, brothers and sisters. But they made it illegal. They made it illegal to teach black children their history. This is white supremacy. They eliminate the black people from the books. Remember, he went to the military academies and obliterated the Tuskegee Airmen's, the 68888. Huh? Eliminated them. Take them out the books. Make it seem like only white people was in the military. But historically speaking, the black man died in every damn war you've had. Even the Civil War. Black man died. He was a slave, and he was fighting for white America's freedom. And I also got to say to you this, too, because I have family in the military, that a lot of them brothers and sisters, when they came back from fighting the wars, they had this thing called the GI Bill. A lot of the black soldiers didn't get anything from the GI Bill. Just want to point that out. They didn't get anything. So starting getting a house or something to start some generational wealth didn't happen for the black soldiers. Just want to point that out as a historical fact. So he overtakes Venezuela. He wants to overtake Greenland. This is, again, the Monroe Doctrine twisted, not the original. This is the one that was amended, that then encouraged the belief of manifest destiny. God intended us to have this. Oh yeah, that's God's purpose. We're supposed to have this. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to have it with peace. See, God is the author of peace, but He's also allows chaos to come into your life if you don't do right. If you don't do right. And that's a key factor. So, brothers and sisters, like I said, we have to understand that Project 2025 is in effect. The destruction of our democracy, you see it. You see it. Healthcare out of control. What did Trump do when he found out that some of the Republicans went over there to the Democrats to increase the Obama subsidies? He called them everything but a child of God. He said he hoped they never get elected, like a child. But he also had a sober moment. Remember, I say this on my podcast. I say, even a broke clock is right twice a day. You know what he said? He had one of those sober moments, as we call it. He said, "Man, if we don't win the midterm elections, I'm going to get impeached again." But brothers and sisters, that's garbage. Don't worry about impeachment. Don't go after that. Don't go after that. The best strategy to do is don't impeach him because he got impeached twice. The key that a lot of black folks don't understand is the Senate. Now, if we win the House and the Senate, then it gets interesting. But you're not going to win both. You'll get the House because that's just what history says. The Senate's different because it takes 6 years. So as I say, brothers and sisters, it's important to understand this. We have a dictator in the White House. But I'm getting ready to pivot here about ICE. Disgrace. Gestapo. Have you all asked yourself this, Republicans? And even in some of their cities, they're protesting. Have you ever seen something like this? You haven't. These are Gestapo type tactics. And again, black people, don't be afraid. Because like I said, I saw one of them late night talk shows. I'll give you a little hint. It was on CNN. One of them sisters, got a couple of sisters up there that be talking, and I like what they say. But one of the sisters, they got this old one of them white propagandists up there, and he goes them into a little trap, that black people, and he'll say stuff like this. So are you trying to call me this? Are you trying to call it this? And black people, don't be afraid. Say, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm calling you that. He said that with the Gestapo because someone called them with the Gestapo tactics. So you saying the ICE agents are Gestapo? Yes, they are. Their tactics are Gestapo-like. But where's the $1 million question? Are the people happy to see ICE? Remember, what's the purpose of ICE? They're supposed to go get the illegal immigrants. They call them illegal aliens. They ain't from no damn outer space. They're illegal immigrants. But again, I told you from the beginning, there's not one Caucasian in this damn country that's not here as an immigrant. All of you are here as immigrants. And that's why I wear the Native American on my chest. Because he's the original American. What does he say about the, quote, illegals? What's his story about the illegals? You won't ask him that. So who's really the illegals? You can't talk about illegals and you a nation of immigrants. And then again, according to you, let's use your figure. Oh, Joe Biden, he let 11 million illegals in. Oh, 11 million. Okay, he let 11 million. Let's say that's the truth. He just let 11 million just run into the border. Okay. How the hell are you going to get rid of them now? How? By doing this ICE thing? Just go snatching people up? They don't wear a mask. They wear a mask. They come up in unmarked cars, snatching you, busting out your windows. But no one's saying to you, Is anyone saying ICE is doing a great job? I'm glad so glad they're here. You hear the exact opposite. You hear this what? We don't want them here. But why are they there? They're there for Trump to terrorize the American people. He's terrorizing the American people. And this is what he's doing. And it's a sad thing, brothers and sisters. He's using these people, these goons, guerrillas, to come in there to terrorize American people, not to stop crime or search for illegals. They had a quota to make, and they couldn't make it because there weren't that many people committing crimes. They were just here illegally. But how many of you Caucasians are here illegally? Which brings me to my next point. The next point is, how come you don't see ICE in none of them affluent white neighborhoods? So you mean to tell me in the United States there's no illegal white people? Are you telling me there are no illegal white people here in America? Go to some of the more affluent communities, upper middle class. Who do you think doing their lawn? Who do you think's doing working at their grocery stores? Who do you think's working at their Home Depots? Who do you think's doing some of their handyman work on some of them big houses and mansions they got? But you don't see ICE going over there. Racial profiling. See, under the guise of protecting America. Yeah, you're protecting from the brown people. Oh, yeah, and that's what I wanted to also say about Trump and his racist attitude. In his first term, he called Haiti and Africa and Haiti and other African countries shitholes. He said they're shitholes. Haiti and other African countries. He called them shitholes. Well, if they said shitholes, take your Caucasian ass out of there and see if you can survive. The most minerally rich continent in the world. You done raped and pillaged it, and it still got plenty. Because it's the home of the original people. Because it's meant for the original people to prosper off of that. But because of colonization, they've come and raped the land. And who's one of the biggest ones? Great Britain. I told you we have a history of conflict with the British. My Palestinian brothers have conflict with the British. They've taken a lot because they were the world power. Russia, Spain, they were the empirical powers. Can't do that, brothers and sisters. Can't do it. Won't happen. But this is what they've done. And now Trump wants to take over the Western Hemisphere. Because his thing is, we're going to divvy up the world. See, Russia, you get run by Putin. You can take Ukraine. China, you can take Taiwan. And we'll take whatever we want on the Western Hemisphere. And like I said, that's Stephen Miller. Watch that interview, brothers and sisters. Stephen Miller on CNN. Leave you shaking your head. Stone cold white nationalists. Stone cold white nationalists. But this is what we have. This is what we have, brothers and sisters. So now we got ICE. They terrorizing American cities. Nobody wants them. So why is Donald sending them? Again, to terrorize, to put fear in the people's heart. People stop going to school. People stop going to work. That's what we want. Get out of here. You're not making things safe. You're making things worse because they're coming there to agitate. They come there to agitate. They want to see, can we stir something up where we can shoot a few of them? And remember, I mentioned earlier, Donald Trump said, only one who could stop me is my own morality. What makes them think like that? The Supreme Court. They gave him unlimited power to a convicted felon, damn it. Let that swirl in your brain. That's why he says he only thing that stops him is his morality. And he's associated with pedophiles, his morality. Won't release the Epstein files. Heavily redacted. Like he said to somebody, he said, yeah, a lot of my friends don't think that's cool. Of course they don't. And they told you, Donald, you better squash that. Squash that foolishness. But I want to talk about our sister, Miss Renee Nicole Good, and the ICE episode. Like I said, it brought tears to my heart because I know she left three babies behind. And I just hope and pray. I just hope and pray, dear Lord. But let's take a look at it. The ICE agents who did this, they said the one who actually did the shooting, oh, he's highly trained. He's a veteran of 10 years. He's part of a special unit. Now, I got family in law enforcement. And I said, after your review of the tape, what is your conclusion as a law enforcement officer? What about their tactics? And one of my cousins said they were pitiful. They're supposed to have been highly trained. He said, I don't know how highly trained they were. I said, well, brothers and sisters, I said, brother, this is what they do. This is exactly what they do. They're supposed to be highly trained, but they ain't highly trained. First tactical error. And most police will tell you this. What's the first tactical error they made? He stands in front of the car. Hello? You don't stand in front of no car. That's just common sense. He stood in front of the car. Slightly to the left, but nonetheless. The video says, the woman says, bye, I don't hate you all. Interesting thing to say. Next thing you know, officer pulls out his gun and shoots her 3 times in the face. Tactically, he shouldn't have been in that position. She backs up, then she takes off, but she's turning slightly to the right. Another officer had come and grabbed her door. Visualize this. Watch this on the video. He's grabbing her door. She starts to back up. She starts to move forward, turning slightly to the right. He's still by the car, and the nitwit shoots off 3 rounds. Pow, pow, pow. With the other officer standing by the door. With the other officer standing by the door. He should not have been in front of the car. But here's the big one, brothers and sisters. The DHS training manual clearly states that agents should never fire into a moving car. He almost killed one of his own boys because he was still standing by the door. Another issue. Did any of the other officers draw their gun? The one right up on the door, he had the best, a good kill shot right there. If he thought he was in any real danger, he grabbing her door. He risked a chance of what? Getting dragged. Oh, and they said this. This is their excuse. Well, this officer that killed her, he was in a situation before where he got dragged. Yeah, okay. But what that got to do with this situation? If you start basing your actions on prior actions, you're not a good police officer. Each situation is different, and you got to handle it appropriately when it's different. So they're trying to give him an out. They're trying to give him an out. He shoots while there's another officer's right by the car. The officer jumps. Look for yourself. I looked at that. My people looked at that. They said, that's crazy, man. He could have hit the police officer. I said, you damn right. But he's had special training. He's in a special elite unit, blah, blah, blah. And he feared for his life, which is another thing. Black man, I say this to you in particular, but to all the people of color. It's almost like a standard line for my Caucasian brothers and sisters. The first thing they say when they do the wrong thing is they say, I feared for my life. How many times have they said that? Trayvon Martin. All of them. You think of all the notorious murders. Philando Castillo. The officer feared for his life. Everybody feared for their life, and you're a damn police officer. It's a standard line used by a lot of people, but particularly my Caucasian brothers and sisters. They fear for their life, so that justifies blowing you away. Oh, and there's another one. Tamir Rice. He was only 11. The officers feared for their life. How they fear for their life with a 10, 11-year-old playing with a toy gun. But they blow Renee Good away. They blow her away, man. An ICE agent shot 2 people up in Portland. Shot 2 people in Portland. Again, we're talking about legality. Remember, it's supposed to be against the law to use American soldiers on American citizens. But does Trump understand that? No. Because remember, the Supreme Court said you have absolute power in any decisions you make, so be it. You're doing it in the name of the presidency. And that's sad. It's very sad, brothers and sisters. So, as I said, it makes me sad to see that what happened to Miss Renee Good. Sad to hear that 2 people got shot in Portland. More people are going to get shot because that's what Trump is there to do. He's there to agitate trouble. What's the word I call him? Mischief maker. That's making mischief. He ain't helping nobody. You don't hear no one say, man, we're so glad ICE is here. Ever since ICE came, there hasn't been no problems at all. No, it's racial profiling. It's designed to get Hispanic males and anybody that look like that, or anybody in between, to kick them out of America. Because this is a white supremacist in the White House. And it's a form of ethnic cleansing. That's all this is about, ethnic cleansing. But now they messed up. They done killed a white woman. And she was part of the LGBTQ community, which makes no difference to me. She's still human. It don't matter to me. She had 3 children. She was American. But they immediately, you notice, immediately what did they say? They came up with what had happened. Now, how the hell you come up with what happened? And it was only within the first half hour of the damn shooting. They had a whole scenario written like a bunch of puppets, and they all started saying the same thing, like they was like Jim Henson's puppets, Muppets. They all yak 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 saying the same thing. How the hell you know when you ain't investigated nothing? And poor Christy Norm, she's sad. She's sad. You can tell she ain't qualified for to be a dog catcher. She was out there who had her Texas hat on. Now, you know me, I love my cowboy hats. But you're wrong as 2 left shoes, Christy, because you didn't investigate nothing before you came up with a statement. And I always remember one thing, and this even applies to the JFK conspiracy. One day I'll go over it, because I already got the answer to it. I know who and what killed JFK. But I got to be leery because this was powerful stuff. It's very powerful stuff. But here's the key. To get away with murder, you must be in charge of the investigation. That's the only way you get away with murder. To get away with murder, you must be in charge of the investigation. And look at the JFK assassination, and then you think about what I just said. To get away with murder, you have to be in charge of the investigation. And immediately, what did they do? They shut off the police in Minneapolis. The FBI gonna handle this. Reminds me, like I said, I'm doing little pieces here. It reminds me when Kennedy's body was at Parkland Hospital. And the Secret Service guerrillaed his body from the doctors that were going to perform the autopsy. And even though the law said that at that time, that if a death happened in Texas, that Texas would be responsible for the autopsy. But the Secret Service, with guns drawn, snatched Kennedy's body and took him to Bethesda, Maryland. I had to give that little piece. But again, how to get away with murder? Be in charge of the investigation. So my brothers and sisters, you know me, I got to pivot a little bit here, and I got to give you what? I got to give you a little history. But first, I'm going to give you some history. I'm going to start giving you some history of my Native American brothers and sisters. Because, they're the original Americans. And since America has this problem with illegals and all of this, I'm going to the original American and see what they think about the illegals who are still here. Who are still here claiming it's their land. And it was never their land. See, so I'm going to give you right now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to give you 5 of the fiercest Native American chiefs in history. 5 of them. Okay? Let me get their names and stuff together, brothers and sisters. All right, here we go. Got to give you that. Then I'm going to give you some Black history to go with you, guys. Guess what's around the corner? Black History Month, but it's here every day for me. Here's the first one. These were fierce fighters. You heard them, but you don't want to speak on them because guess what? They caused the Caucasians a lot of problems. And rightfully so, because you were stealing their land. You were displacing them under manifest destiny. Remember? You were ordained to steal their land. No, you weren't. That's a lie. First one is Sitting Bull. Oh, shoot. Sitting Bull. He was Lakota Sioux. That's a subgroup of the Sioux. Powerful. Red man. Go ahead. The next one, Crazy Horse. Oh, Lord. Crazy Horse. That man, he ride a crazy horse because they ride it to death and go kill them colonizers. Rightfully so. Coming here stealing, trying to steal that and try to help you survive. And then you come in and give them blankets with poison, with sickness in it. Crazy horse. The third one, you heard of him, Geronimo. Oh, sugar honey iced tea. He was an Apache. Strong, reddish brown man. These are our Native American chiefs who led their people against colonization and brutality. Tecumseh. Tecumseh. He was Shawnee. Tecumseh. Shawnee. Another one. Quina Parker. Quana Parker. He was Comanche. Oh, I'm laying it out, baby. And finally, Cochise. You've heard of them, but you shudder because you know their history. Their whole history is, I'll take a colonizer out as fast as you can say your name. Power to them. Strong Native American men. Standing up against oppression. Again, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Geronimo, Tecumseh, Quannapaca, and Cochise. 6. Next time, I'm going to give you some of the battles they were fighting and what they had to face. And one of them is that they had to face was one of them was Wounded Knee. Another one is the Trail of Tears. Study that, black man. Learn what our red brothers gone through as it pertains to our Caucasian brothers. But now, brothers and sisters, I always got to end with what? Some black history. Got to do it. It's important. Yep, got to do it. It's important. Very important. Oh, shoot. You know what I'm going to start with? Brother Rams, I know what you're going to start with. I'm going to start with black women inventors. I got to. Because our sisters are heavy, baby. But I'm going to touch on the brother too now. Don't get me wrong. I got to give props to our sisters because, man, they've been holding us down for ages. Okay? First black woman that I'm going to discuss. Her name is Jewel Plummer Cobb. Jewel Plummer Cobb. What was she, Brother Rams? She was a cell biologist, an educator, and a researcher. She discovered effective treatment for skin cancer and other cancers. Skin cancer is very big, especially, guess where? Among our Caucasian brothers and sisters, because they lack melanin. And because they lack melanin, they're subject to skin cancer. So, the first one is, her name is Jewel Plummer Cobb, cell biologist, educator, and researcher. And discovered effective treatments for skin cancer and other forms of cancer. The next one is another sister. Her name is Wanda Segur. Wanda Segur. What was she? She was an engineer and an aerospace consultant. She created a new process to manufacture materials for the space shuttle fuel tank. Good Lord, that sister, love them sisters. She developed a material that goes around the tank that you make the tank out of on the space shuttle. Our sisters ain't just here shaking, gyrating, and rotating. Brilliant sisters. But that's all you want to associate them with. Is shaking, gyrating. So, brothers and sisters, as I say, I now got one brother. Got a brother. Gotta have him. What's this brother's name? This brother's name. All right, he's an African king. His name is Askia Muhammad, better known as Askia the Great, or he was also called Muhammad Touré. He was the first ruler of the Askia dynasty of the Songhai Empire. Remember I told you there's a lot of dynasties in Africa, baby. We got so many, it's shameful. He was the first ruler of the Songhai Empire, Askia Muhammad. And he reigned from 1493 to 1528. He transformed the Songhai Empire into the largest and most powerful. He expanded trade. He established sophisticated bureaucracies. He promoted Islam. And guess where he was educated? Timbuktu. Remember I told you Timbuktu is the basis for learning in Africa? It's the big university with all the manuscripts dealing with science, math, astronomy, archaeology, construction, government, law, medicine. He went to Timbuktu and got his degree. But it's the truth. Askia Muhammad, brothers and sisters. So, as I say, brother, I know this was a tough one, but again, I'm talking about Project 2025, the destruction of America, and you're watching it right in front of your face. All I can say, my solution is to you is please pray. Please pray. And thank God every day for your blessings, because he's here. So again, peace to you, my brothers and sisters. May God keep you safe. May He keep your family safe. And again, say a prayer for Miss Renee Good. Thank you very much. Amen.